Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the DSLR Video Shooter Podcast. Today we're going to actually look at some more questions. I got a lot of positive feedback on that last video I did where we answered a couple questions. So what I'm going to do is, as questions come in via email or on Vimeo or my website comments, I'm going to try to address some of that stuff in video format. So today we have 3 questions from Syed. He actually made a comment on the website. He read through the best DSLR for video posts, which I did to try to help people figure out which camera they need. And he had a couple specific questions, so I'm gonna go ahead and go through those. So there's 3. The first he asks is, I have money to buy both the full frame cameras, a Mark III and a 6D, but didn't use any camera brand before. Which one should I buy? And I think he means he can buy one or the other. You know, he can afford either of them. Which one should he get? That's an interesting question because both are fairly similar, but there's a couple subtle differences. I would strongly suggest, if you're curious, to check out Dave Dugdale's video on learning DSLR video. He compares the 2 cameras and kind of really gets into the nitty-gritty details between the 2. But there's a couple things you should think about if you're able to afford one or the other and you're trying to figure out which one. First of all, price is a big one. It's over $1,000 difference between the 2. I believe right now the 60 is sitting at around 1,800, and 1,800 and 1,900 is kind of going back and forth. And then the 5D, depending on what kit you get, is over $3,000. So you want to definitely think about that. So it's an extra $1,000 to move up. The second question I like to ask people is, do you shoot stills? If you're going to be doing a lot of stills work, there's a lot of great stuff on the 5D Mark III that is not on the 6D. So it's an interesting question because I'm actually going through the same thing. I'm planning on moving up from a 5D Mark II to one of the other full frame cameras. And right now I'm leaning toward the 5D Mark III because I know I'm going to be doing a lot more stills in the future. And there's a couple other things you need to keep in mind. One, another big thing is the cards. There's 2 card slots on the 5D Mark III, giving you a CF card and an SD card. And then the other thing is being able to record out of the HDMI. Right now that's only on the 5D Mark III, and you won't find that on the Canon 6D. Other than that, the actual image quality in the camera isn't really that different. Another very important question to ask yourself is, what other gear do you already have? So I'm trying to figure out, I think Syed is fairly new to, he's asked some other questions about gear. So I would probably have him consider the 6D if he's all right with that, because that would give him a lot more capital to spend on all the other equipment he's going to need. So that brings us to the next question, which is, which lens do you recommend to buy? Now, this is a huge question. I'm going to keep this answer short. I'm going to try to do either another video or an extensive article because it's impossible for me to do one post that says this is the lens everybody should buy, because everybody's got a different situation. So I would have to ask him specifically more questions, whether he's more of a run and gun shooter, what kind of events is he filming, and what his style of shooting is. Out of the gate, it's really hard to tell, but if you don't have a lot of money, if you were like me and you're fairly broke when you're getting started, a 15mm is a great place to start. You're going to learn a lot about lens compression and whatnot with that lens, and then from there you can upgrade. But just as a blanket question, one lens that can do a ton of work is what I'm filming this with right now, and that's the Tamron 24-70 f2.8. It has a vibration control, so it's great for video. It's a fantastic lens for the range, and it's also a fairly fast lens. And that thing lives on the 5D almost all the time, so that's a fantastic lens. So that'd be a good place to start. And if he buys this Canon 6D for his camera, that's gonna free up over $1,000 that he could put toward that lens. So as a blanket answer without really knowing details, I would probably suggest that zoom lens. Third question, what brands do you recommend for other rigs, tripods, follow focus, matte box slider, glide cam, steady cam monitors, filters? That's a huge question. I guess it depends on what you're able to spend. If you want top of the line stuff, wooden camera, Zacuto, and then go down a little bit, you get into like Red Rock, If you can't afford that kind of stuff, you can even go further down to looking at like Jag. Express 35 also has some great stuff. A lot of people don't know about them, but they make some great gear. I'm trying to think of some other stuff. That Polaroid rig that I just did a review on, things like that you can get for fairly cheap. And there's oodles of brands out there for that kind of stuff. When it comes to monitors, I would suggest going straight to SmallHD. SmallHD.com. I've played with multiple different monitors and I just always go back to them. They just have fantastic stuff at a great price and you're not really skimping on quality either. Yeah, so that's the 3 questions. I'd like to hear your guys' opinions. You can drop a comment on the website. If you have any questions, you can send me an email through the form on the contact page on the website or write on a post like this one. You can just drop in a comment and I'll see if I can do a video. And we will see you guys on the website, Facebook, and Google Plus, and Twitter. And hope you guys have a great week.